All right, people, music nerds everywhere. It is time for the drop. We are at headquarters here, Cactus Music in beautiful Houston, Texas. Quinn Bishop riding shotgun. He's got the list.
We got the list.
Come on.
We've got a bunch of great stuff to talk about today.
I forgot. This is very important. I know we've mentioned this before. Guys, you need to download the Fox Local app. Why? Because you will find all of our streaming content right on there.
No
if you
way.
have a smart TV, it's free. Roku, Fire Stick, whatever, you know the deal. Apple TV, Fox Local, you get all of the Fox owned and operated stations around the country, and you will get sick of watching episodes of The Drop. That's how many there are on there.
If you completely run out of things to do, you can watch us at your leisure.
My dude right here. All right, kick it off. Go.
Okay, let's talk about an in-store this Saturday. The Hates are going to be here 3 p.m. There's the artwork for their brand new
iconic
CD.
Houston punk
They
band.
claim to be Houston's first and last punk band. I think that
No argument.
Yeah, could be starts and ends with them.
No argument.
Whenever they play the store, it's always a bash. It's going to be great. Complimentary St. Arnold beverages help these guys celebrate the release of their new CD. Christian Arnheider and company in the house. It's going to be a good time. We hope to see you then.
Fantastic.
And keep watching, keep paying attention to
like the artwork.
Cactus Socials. The artwork is great.
The artwork is very good. We'll put it right there.
Yeah, that looks good. And keep watching because we're in stores are back. Look out, everybody.
How much does it cost to attend one of these in-store shows? Nothing.
Zero. Nothing.
Free.
Nothing. Come on out.
Come on,
down.
people.
All right, we're going to keep the punk rock rolling. Start talking about new releases. We talked about this last week.
This is really good.
Brand new Green Day record. I think it's terrific.
It's really
right?
good.
It's terrific. And there's a lot of different versions of this. There's a CD. There's obviously there's an indie store exclusive colored vinyl. Then there's a deluxe LP that comes with a poster, a bunch of stuff. And if you watch our socials, there may be another version of it come available. This is the half black, half hot pink vinyl to mirror.
I like that.
album art.
I like that the art design. They kind of went like what your first band album is like that you paid for yourself.
Yeah, it does. It totally looks.
I love that DIY. That's really cool. Very smart by these guys.
Strong record, and they're giving
produced by Mr. Rob Cavallo. He's had a few massive records in his.
Yeah, and he's there. He was there. He got to start as their A&R guy. So he's done.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's his.
He's worked with a lot of
worked with a bunch of great bands, including the Muffs and some of our other favorite groups. And it's very, very, very much a return to form for these guys. They're giving the people what they want with this
high
record.
marks across the
High
board.
marks.
Everybody's loving this album.
All right, we're keeping the punk rock, the indie rock going. Sleater Kinney has a new record, Little Rope. And after a couple of difficult records, I think they're back on track with this record. You know, they lost Jenny Weiss. They parted ways with her after they had an excellent record in 2015 that No Cities to Love. Brilliant record. Maybe you met them at Cactus when they stopped in on Record Store Day. That record was terrific. And then they really kind of, I think, lost the path, road, map, whatever for a little bit. But this is a strong record. Unfortunately, without, I think, one of the great rock and roll drummers, Jenny Weiss, who's with her husband and Quasi now. But strong record. The singles are great. This is on Indie exclusive Sea Blue vinyl. Check it out. The 3 songs that are out there right now for streaming are really terrific.
Fantastic. Iconic band.
Yeah, absolutely. Very important
Yes,
band.
absolutely. If I'm not mistaken, it was the exit off the freeway that they named the band after,
true, yeah.
right? There you go.
Which is funny. There was a Houston band that did the same thing. Do you remember this band, Kumi Starks? And that's an exit between New Orleans and Houston. Yeah, I was like, what is that name? It was like, oh, it's the exit to like in Bow Bridge.
Okay, that makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Nicki Minaj released a record in December. We didn't get to talk about it because we
we
were doing other things. So you got the Pink Friday Part 2. This is her 5th record. You know, obviously iconic hip hop artist, tons and tons of guests on this. Little Uzi Vert, Drake, J. Cole, Lil
How
Wayne.
could you even read that? You have eyesight, my friend.
No.
That's
that's from the bio sheet.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Another big ups, great art direction. I love that.
Yeah, it really looks cool, right?
Yeah, man.
She puts a lot. I think she's one of those. I mean, you have some hip hop artists that they're just all about the music and all the packaging and everything comes later, but she is so about like how she presents herself and the visuals. Big record.
I've probably mentioned it on the drop multiple times. I had the pleasure of interviewing her, and she was lovely.
Awesome. Good. I'd love to hear things like that.
She was so nice.
We love to hear that the
sweet.
people that we listen to and idolize are actually quality.
Yes, she was lovely.
Next up, a new album from Robbie Krieger, the
cool.
guitar player from the Doors. This is the Soul Savages, and I think he makes pretty great records. Obviously, it sounds like the Doors because he's one of the signature guitar players of the 20th century. I mean, he's an amazing player. It's on the Players Club label that put out a bunch of guitar players records. Put out your I'm spacing out. Toto guy.
Steve Lukather?
Steve Lukather's records. So a very guitar-centric label.
Nice.
He's very kind of jazz fusion-y. This has some like dirty blues, some soul jazz kind of stuff going on. It's a cool record.
Nice.
And I just think every time you get from a master of their instrument that is that late in the game, every time you get a new record from them and it's good, it's like, lagniappe. It's the bonus round.
Yeah.
And very cool. So pick that up.
Nice.
All right.
I saw him once live.
Oh, did you?
Saw him with Eric Burden.
Oh, that's
It
cool.
was really good. Yeah.
Wow.
So at Rockefeller's back when they used to
do
shows, when they used to do shows. Yeah.
Back in the day.
He was great.
All right. Now I'm going to present one of the most wild pieces we've ever had on the drop.
Yeah. What is this?
This is the John Prine, the Oh Boy Singles.
That is crazy.
Jukebox. This is the jukebox.
I love that.
And so there's some story here. So this is 845 RPM 7-inch singles. Of
Cool
45.
packages.
Yeah, his label, art direction, and we can't pull the thing out, but you and it's got like jukebox coins, so you can put it in there.
Nice.
And there's a little tab you pull up, but when you push the button, this thing lights up. The story behind this is John Prine and his good buddy Steve Goodman wrote "You Never Even Call Me by My Name," which is a huge hit for David Allan Coe. Everybody knows that country song. You never even called me darling, darling. You never even called me by my name.
Correct.
He was John Prine. He was a goof. He didn't want to take credit for it.
Right.
Steve Goodman's like, "You're going to really leave your name off this?" He's like, "Yeah." So when it became a huge hit, Steve Goodman bought him this original Wurlitzer jukebox that's like super rare.
So
it's
that's
still
why.
in his house, and that's why.
Perfect.
And it's a cool piece.
You get a lot of stuff on here.
You get a lot of stuff, and I will tell you that for a lot of heritage like folk and blues artists, you don't really see this kind of cool.
They don't go for
packaging.
their-
They don't
or-
go
yeah.
for this, so it's really neat to have it.
Yeah.
For if you're a super John Prine fan, this is
And of course,
shelf worthy.
if you're not familiar with him, he has influenced so many people.
It's one of the greatest songwriters ever.
Influenced so many
Yeah,
people.
absolutely. So
That's a good one.
all
That is a good one.
right, let's talk about some reissues. There's some really cool ones here. This is
What you got?
this is Ginger Baker.
Oof.
This is Horses and Trees. This is his record this is only his second solo album. This is recorded in 1985, produced by Bill Laswell. This is really
Incredible producer.
and this is like when this record came out, it was a huge record. The instrumentalists that are on this, Bernie Worrell, Shankar, and it's this cross pollination of jazz. Fusion.
Bill plays bass on it too.
Yeah,
Great bass player.
cross pollination of like jazz fusion and African rhythms. It is a very influential, cool record from one of the greatest drummers.
And I'm trying to
ever.
remember the documentary, but didn't he
It's
move
great.
to Africa?
He moved to Africa.
Yeah.
He lived
Yeah.
there for a long time. And if you've not seen that documentary or classic rock, man, it is one of the wildest documentaries.
It's Fear Mr. Baker or Beware of Mr.
Beware
Baker.
of Mr. Baker.
Yeah, and they're not wrong. He and I did this the other day. I went back in some YouTube clip. It's Cream. I want to say it's at the Royal Albert Hall or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And the camera work on it is really good because you get lots of like really tight shots of Clapton.
I saw that. Yeah.
But man, there's a couple of songs where it's just Ginger Baker kind of doing his thing behind the kit. And I mean, you talk about. I mean, the man had his own style. He had his own voice on the
You
instrument.
watch him play, you're like, what is he doing?
Yeah,
Like, it's so,
that whole band, man.
Yeah.
It was just
Agreed.
three supernovas coming together.
And if you're even thinking about watching the documentary, I'll just say that any documentary that ends with the subject assaulting the documentary filmmaker, it's something different.
Worth it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I recommendaly recommend. That's one of my favorite rock docs.
I would agree.
Period.
I would agree.
Period.
Okay, let's talk about this. This is cool. Culture Wall. These records have been available for a while, but RCA just reissued all the Culture Wall back catalog, and I will tell you why. They did the same thing they did with Tyler Childers, where they bought out his contract, and now he's on RCA. And
Oh,
look
okay.
out. It's a big deal because he had been an solely independent artist forever. And his last record, Little Songs, was on RCA. And so
We talked about that on the
yeah. So they went back and they picked up his catalog. So they're really viewing, one of the majorest of major labels is viewing him as a serious artist, and you're going to be seeing. Presumably, this sets up his new album. And if you haven't heard him, he's one of the most distinctive new voices in country music.
Thank God.
Yeah, check him out. He's great.
Thank God for that.
All right, and we're going to bring it back to Houston, Texas for our last reissue.
Archie
This is
Bell
so
and the
cool. Now,
Drells.
this is an import.
Tighten it up now.
You're not going to find this at all the stores, but we had to get some of these from Europe. This is Archie Bell and the Drells. This is the 7-disc box set. It's all the albums from 68 to 79. So you go all the way from Tighten Up to Keep On Dancing.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff on here. And, Archie's still going, gigs occasionally. The Tighten Up.
Yeah, you get 2 versions of Tighten Up to kick things off. That's amazing.
That's what you want. Yeah, this is, any tune that
is legendary.
That gives Houston, Texas a shout out
Yeah.
at the very beginning of the
Yeah,
song.
you can still put it on. People are going to dance. Period.
Legendary soul record,
Okay.
and he's super cool. I think it's the first time most of this music has been available and reissued on CD.
Love
So
it.
there you go.
While you're digging in that box over there, I am going to let our producer, Will, shout out. I didn't start the clock on this, so you're going to have to wrap us when we are about to go too long. Just
We're not gonna.
send us a little
We're good
text or
boys.
something.
We're gonna keep
Are
it
we?
together. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about a few jazz reissues. We always like to throw a couple of those in there. And this is Today and Tomorrow by McCoy Tyner. What you know about this? This is one of the records that's direct analog transfer. The master tapes never saw a computer to make this record. And, one of the greatest pianists ever features the awesome Elvin Jones and some of the on drums, Thad Jones on trumpet. But you've got this came from 2 different sessions. It's his 3rd record for Impulse, John Coltrane's label, and that's why a lot of John Coltrane's band is on it. But it's worth talking about this Verve by Request series because it is literally by request. Jazz fans are writing them, hey, man, will you do this record?
This is what we want to hear.
Because they're picking great records that really have not. If you went to buy an original in this, it cost you a ton of money. It's never been reissued. Now, fully restored.
And for what you get, that's a good price.
Yeah.
Excellent price.
And then this came out.
Oh, yes.
This came out during the holidays. We featured.
I always forget about her.
Oh,
love that voice.
So we featured others in this series. We did Nina Simone, but this is a great women of song from the Verve label, 2 from Verve today, and this is Astrid Gilberto. Arguably one of you can't argue about it. It's one of the greatest artists and vocalists of the Brazilian samba bossa nova movement. She sang "Girl from Ipanema," and
if you've been to brunch, you've heard her.
Yeah, and but I'll say, man, deep catalog. Like if you're in on that track, there's so much more waiting for you.
Oh, 100%.
And if on cloudy days like today that are kind of gloomy and you need a little bit of sunshine,
there you
throw
go.
on a song by her. Love her. And that's the first time there's been like a good collection reissued on vinyl. So you can grab that. All
good
right.
stuff today, people. I hope you're taking notes.
All right, and let's talk about some Latin and salsa records.
Oh, here we go.
We have some cool ones. This is Tito Puente. This is Para los Rumberos.
Para los Rumberos.
And what you need to know about this is on the Tico label, which is legendary salsa record label. And this is cool. It's just impossible to find good copies because they're party records. We necessarily care that way, but we almost never see original pressings of salsa records through the store. So it's great that this craft label, is reissuing these legendary records. A lot on the Fania label, a lot of Tico. This was recorded in 1972 in New York City. Like a lot of that's where the money was.
Anything on Fania is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a party starter.
And this kind of a diversity touches on almost every type of Latin music.
So great percussionist, if you're not familiar, very famous for the timbales, which they look like 2 snare drums, usually have a cowbell on top. Also famous player, percussion, Sheila Escovedo's dad.
Oh, yeah.
Was kind of in that. And those guys were band leaders in a lot of the.
Absolutely.
And they were the guys out front.
And he was a band leader.
Yeah.
Celia Cruz, he made a bunch of records with Celia Cruz that really cemented his importance in that. That it's just great music, man. That's Saturday night. That's Saturday night music.
You get the party going.
Okay. And then, so we have 2 records that were released independently. This is the Fania All Stars Live. And what you need to know about this is the 50th anniversary of these recordings, and these are the albums that really cause Fania and salsa to bust wide open in the United States. These are records that still come in. We do see salsa records. These come in people's collections because they sold so well. And it's a live record, which, I mean, this type of music, it's hard to capture. It's like lightning in a bottle. Like, it's hard to really get it in a session. Yeah. These are live records with all the greats, Ray Barretto.
Oh, God, I love Ray Barretto.
And it's a de facto greatest hits of that era.
Yeah.
And that's why these records connect.
So what year was this? 70?
This is early 70s.
74?
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
So
72.
Yeah, and they told them at the time, because the Fania guys came up with an idea, they were going to do a big concert at Shea Stadium, and they were like, really? Sold it out. Know your market, know your customer. So if your parents love this music, these are the records that turned them on, and it's great that these are available again. Check them out. You know, if you don't know good price for this, man. Really good price.
You need this music in your life.
This is fantastic. Yes, sir.
Hey, you want to talk some
good choice
staff picks? We have some staff.
Oh, yes, I've been waiting for this.
Best of 2023.
Here we go. Exciting.
Our very knowledgeable Cactus staff. If you come in, you get to talk with them about music, which is way better than seeing something relevant. If you like on your computer, you like this, you bought this, so you like this. This is where it's happens.
Now, I don't know if this is myth or urban legend, but there's like a 1,000-question exam that they have to pass just to work here, right? I mean, it's every day. It's like, there's a gauntlet before you can be even considered for a position.
We are staffed with music lovers,
good,
top
okay,
to bottom, and
experts,
and pop through the algorithm. Come in a record store, talk to a real human, and find out what's good.
I love it.
Let's talk about it. This one, Leila. This is probably the most featured album on Artist on the drop from last year. This is Boy Genius. It's their breakthrough full length, the record. And Leila says it was her favorite release, hands down. There's something about the way Julian Baker, Lucy Dacus, Phoebe Bridgers' voices blend, almost creating an Indigo Girls-like sound and feel. The blend of the guitars and instruments follow the same harmonic manner as their voices, creating a curated mix of emotion for each song. Finally, the lyrics are so well written, making this album my favorite release of 2023. Very eloquently stated.
And Leila's brilliant.
She's pretty smart. She is she grew up in the radio studio at KPFT. Her father's Nuri Nuri.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Where is she?
It's not,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
The big bad boss man of the blues.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And she's been coming in the store forever, so it's great that she works here. We recruited well.
This is off to a. This is. Yes.
Yeah, this is like Ruben's picks here.
The staff is on fire.
So Jose picked this one. This
Turnstyle.
is Turnstyle's remix record store release with Bad Bad Not Good, and he says this is New Heart Designs is the piece.
Blood Orange on here too.
Oh yeah, he loves this.
Very
He
cool.
loves the EP because it's the opposite of what Turnstyle is known for, which is hardcore, Bad Bad Not Good. And a feature by Blood Orange makes this an enjoyable listening experience. His favorite standout track would be Alien Love Call, featuring
number 2. Yep.
Blood, which is a great track.
Yeah.
And I think maybe for a lot of people, I mean, the energy of Turnstyle, the directness, I mean, it really grabs people.
Those guys opened a door.
They really
There's
did.
a lot of other bands of that are getting looks and people are finding out about that wouldn't have happened without Mystery being the song that it is.
So if you found that too much for you first time around, visit this track because it definitely kind of makes it more accessible, and you'll get around to it. You'll get it. All right, our buddy Max, esteemed Cactoid Max.
Come on, Max.
His pick was Unknown Mortal Orchestra V.
Pick.
Yeah, this was a big record. Album cover's great, right?
Yeah.
Some chomping going on there. And
it's almost. I think it's not really.
It's. I'm going to say it's embossed.
It's embossed.
It's embossed.
Thank you.
Happy. He says it's a refreshing new UMO album full of groovy guitar chops and those classic New Zealander vocals. I don't drink, but if I did, I'd recommend listening to this poolside with a cocktail in hand.
Fascinating band, by the way.
Yeah, Max knows his music. He's a great guitar player, so he's
fascinating.
He's
band.
on it. And
I didn't know Max was a guitarist.
Man, I think everybody here's a
This is
guitarist.
true. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a guitar player on this block.
Especially at the record store. Okay, and
Jeez.
Daisy is our final pick, and she had this is another great record, King Cruel, Space Heavy.
Oh man,
This band has been growing
100%.
with their sphere of influence over the last few years, and are really connecting with new fans with every release.
Great.
She says,
great.
It's very true to its name. The songs are consistent to the theme, gloomy and spacey, without compromising jazz punk style. Deep voice contrasts well with the surplus of echo and reverb effects. We like echo and reverb effects, always. Like in the song Sea Girl, for example. Space Heavy is a fresh twist of melancholy and raw vulnerability. Well put, and I totally agree with that. This is one of the records you got here, and I think this is a band that you're going to just keep hearing more and more from. Their trajectory is just like this.
Yeah.
So
I think that Letterman appearance kind of really.
Oh yeah.
Same for Future Islands.
Yeah.
There was a run there right at that. It was like that last. It was the last year of Letterman, right? And everybody was watching because he was going off.
Because he's elevated great music. His entire
the Suffers sneaked in there in that.
What did he say? If you can't
window.
do it this good, don't do it. This is
pretty much.
Thanks to the Cactus staff, Leila, Jose,
that was
Max, and Daisy for great records.
I say staff picks comes back more often.
Yeah, we'll keep it rolling. And the creaky door just opened on the vinyl vault. I don't know if you heard that.
Get our sound effects together. We need to get that album of Halloween noises. Chris to just play it over there.
I'll tell you a crazy bit of trivia. Do you know this? You don't know this. Cactus sold a Halloween Sounds album because it's royalty free. You don't have to pay for any publishing or anything.
Yeah.
Whatever you sell it for, you make all the money, right?
Yeah.
And Don Daly, original Cactus music owner, actually recorded all the sounds. It's literally like the Gravediggers, like him with the shovel.
What?
Yeah, it comes in from time to time. It's like spooky sounds of Halloween.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
Well, that has to be the vinyl vault. So we take turns. We pick an album from way back, and then from way back, or whatever that we think is important or meant something to us. So this is the Boomtown Rats. This is Mondo Bongo. You may know one, Mr. Bob Geldof, who was
Sir Bob Geldof,
who was the leader of this band. They had a kind of a minor MTV hit with Up All Night.
Yeah.
So I went out and bought the album, and this is the one they had. Because Up All Night is on it, but there's a couple of just great songs on here that I love so much. Elephant's Graveyard's great. Banana Republic is amazing. And like a lot of bands of this era that I didn't really think that much about them other than like, oh, I like it, play it again. I was in my mind, I was not critically listening to it. Mm-hmm. Older me goes back and listens. I'm amazed at the complexity, might not be the right word. This is sophisticated songwriting.
Oh yeah, it is for sure.
There, and like you would find in a lot of bands that, like even some of the later Clash stuff, which the hardcore Clash fans didn't like, features some really mature songwriting.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they progressed. Whatever. Geldof, him from Live Aid, and all the incredible work he did and got famous for. The band did not get as famous as he got famous. This one is produced by
Tony Visconti.
We know him from his work with David Bowie. What I love about Geldof is his voice sits right between Elvis Costello and Joe Strummer.
Yeah, it's kind of droll, but it's
very British.
It's very British.
And lyrically, he's spot on in a lot of the stuff. And the band is super tight. It's kind of ska. It's trippy in some parts. It's punk rock in some parts. It's a little strange in some parts. This is a good one. If you've never heard it, I recommend it. Pick it up. You can probably find it for $1 somewhere, because this was not a massive seller for the band.
Right. So they're huge in the UK. And I think that's the reason. Like there's some things that are so British, they just don't translate that well in the US, but they did have some hits over here. And I mean, you still hear, Tell Me Why I Don't Like Mondays. You still hear that sampled on stuff. That's a big track. But I mean, I think
Rat
because
Pack.
they really, like you're saying, it is sophisticated. It's fully formed. It's this thing that is not mass appeal. It's that good.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's why I think they kind of struggled to find a U.S. audience. And of course, if you're not having hits over here, it's hard to tour, and that's how you really build a following in the U.S. But very cool record. I have to tell my friend Royal that you picked that. He's a colossal fan.
Okay, cool. I love that. All right.
Yeah.
You're holding something. Do we have a little extra? Is there something extra?
We got
time. We got a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're not a vinyl vault, but
not a vinyl vault. Quick concert review. Went to see this guy last night, Elvis Costello and the Imposters at House of Blues. Mind-blowingly great show. I was expecting.
You're killing me.
I was expecting one thing. I read this. I was because he'll always do like half hits and
I've never seen him.
Half obscure stuff.
Yeah.
So I looked at the set list from like right before Christmas, in the New York show. I'm like, just so I could listen to some of the tunes I wasn't as familiar
And he's like
with.
doing everything you want to hear. Pretty much
half of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So this show was the set list was completely different than what I mean, and that's the beauty of having working with a great man. Charlie Sexton is his lead guitar player, so you got Elvis playing all the squonky,
Oh, when I saw it and Charlie
player.
Sexton, I thought Charlie Sexton was opening.
He's in. The
Okay,
band.
wait a minute. So your two bands that you're in is Bob Dylan and Elvis Costello.
You're pretty.
Yeah, that doesn't suck.
You're pretty good. And the guitar interplay was like fantastic.
what a monster guitar player. Just Charlie's just such. Elvis is incredible.
They're so complimentary to each other.
Yeah, everybody's great in that band.
Tons of hits. He was very engaging, very funny. Played for almost 2.5 hours. It was one of the best times I'd ever seen.
I missed it. I'm an idiot.
He'll be back
Tonight, if you're in Houston at the Heights Theater, Al Di Meola.
Oh, good plug for the.
So I think I'm going to try to mosey on over there and catch some of that. Just jazz, fusion, guitar royalty. I've never seen him, and he's starting. And this doesn't happen that I know of very often. I do believe the North American tour starts in Houston. Who starts a tour in Houston? No one.
The Rolling Stones are going to start their tour.
They should start. It's good enough for the Stones. It's good enough for you.
There you go.
All right. I think it's time to wind it on up. Next week, we will have more new vinyl to discuss. Plug the in-store one more time.
Hates Saturday. Come have a beer with us. St. Arnold Brewery.
Free to get in.
Free performance. Expose yourself to some punk rock. Maybe bring a kid, a friend or two.
Do yourself a favor. All right, people. That's it. I'm Ruben. That's Quinn. This is The Drop. We'll see you next Thursday. Peace. Keep waving. There you go.
Awesome.